don't do muscle confusion. That's not a real thing. Your muscles don't wake up at 6 a.m. and dare somebody to try and confuse them, you know. That does not happen. Muscles don't have brains. They cannot get confused. Let's just leave it at that. All right, it's time to get this thing cracking. What's up? How you doing today? You know, I'm definitely glad you're with me today. It's a big day. It's the start of a new macro cycle. GST size, 25 weeks of growth. Now, this is going to have me finishing this program. I'm on week 6 today, so just getting things going on week 6. It's going to have me finishing this program late March, and then from then on, I'm planning to cut into the summertime. You know, I'm running a winter bulk right now. What are you doing with your nutrition right now? Are you bulking? Are you cutting? Cutting in the winter, it's a tough decision. It's a rough decision, I'll say, because, I mean, at least if you live in a cold weather state. When you're in a cold weather state and it's wintertime and you're shredding body fat and you're getting real lean, you're losing that insulation and you're going to be shivering, you're going to be cold. So plan to have some warm clothes, always be in your long johns, jeans, sweatshirts, coat maybe. Yeah, cutting in the winter is tough. So that's why I'm bulking right now. But tell me what you're doing. I want to know what you're doing with your nutrition. You have to be doing something with your nutrition if you want to make the most of your training. Because you can train hard and you can crush it. You can do everything right in the gym. But if you're not supplying your body with the nutrients, macronutrients and micronutrients that it needs, you know, you're not wasting time 100%, but you're not going to get the most out of the time that you're putting in. And that's just a fact. So have something lined up with your nutrition. Be on some type of phase. Be conscious about it. So kicking off macro cycle 2, micro cycle 1, week 6 of this 25 weeks of growth program. GST size for you right here. The things that I have to do before I kick off this week for my core lifts, I have to recalculate my 1 rep maxes and adjust those. Now technically there's 2 ways to do this. I outline this in the book. This is page 68 of the book. The next thing to do is I need to adjust any exercises that I am bored with or that I feel like they've stalled in strength. Now, I don't really have any exercises that fit those 2 criteria, to be honest. And I don't really recommend even adjusting exercises this quickly into the program. Technically, on week 6 of this program, if you go by the book, it doesn't talk about adjusting anything yet. I've just been doing things a little longer. I've been running this program for a while. So it's not like my week 1 is your week 1. It's a little bit different. So I am going to make some changes, but I think you should disregard that when it comes to you. You're on this program and you're on week 6, let's say. It's not time for you to adjust exercises, but me, you're going to see some changes, and I just wanted to lay that out there and tell you why. So week 6, one of the topics with the supplement exercises on week 6 is that you really shouldn't change things too often. Now, I'm just going to read you a little quote from the book, all right? Page 73 here. So I found something very interesting in my years of training clients. The less frequently I change their programming concepts or exercise choices or selections, the more progress they make in strength, size, and fat loss. Now this is definitely true. And this just circles back to what I just said about don't change your exercises too often. I'm going to talk about this later in the training chat because it's a great topic for today. And I don't want to bore you right now with all these details. I want to get into the training and then I want to circle back. I think circle back is my phrase for the day, by the way. So then I'm going to circle back later when I get into the training chat mid-workout when I'm like really in my zone and really feeling like I want to talk about this topic and be passionate about it. That's when I'm going to circle back to it. Let's get to the task at hand right now, which is legs. Today is all about legs. I'm going to kick off this new macro cycle, start things off with GST squat day. I've decided that I'm going to hit my lunges. I'm going to keep hitting those lunges as my core lift. And I'm going to definitely keep hitting those Oppen Bar squats as a supplement lift. Those have been feeling so good. They've been dialed in so nicely. and they've been progressing really well. So I'm really feeling like I'm in the zone with those. Those aren't going anywhere. And then I'm gonna hit some posterior chain because especially as this program has evolved, it started more like a once weekly frequency program. It's evolved into a twice weekly frequency program. So I have to hit some posterior chain on this leg day. It's a quad focused leg day. I'm gonna do that with some hyperextensions or Romanian deadlifts. I've yet to make that call. I'm gonna make that call on the fly based on how I feel, and then I'm gonna stick with that decision for the next month. After that, we're just gonna keep it flowing with the usual supplement lifts. I'm gonna actually throw up a screen cap of my journal of this day so you can see everything that I'm doing. I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna do that for each training day this week because it's gonna show you exactly the exercise choices that I'm using. And I just think that's good. I think it's good for you. You can copy me, or you can make adjustments based on your own equipment availability, preferences, areas of focus that you really want to hit, all those things that allow the program to be individualized for you. And you should do that. But I think it's good for you to see mine. There's nothing wrong with copying me exactly. I'm not going to lead you astray. I promise you that. I'll always be hitting quality exercises because I'm doing it for me. I mean, why would I want to mess around with my own training? I want to do things right and get the most out of my training. So GST squat day. Let's get it going. The rack's right here. I don't know if you noticed, you can see it a little bit. You see that top part where it says Rogue? That used to be red. I did a little project yesterday. I changed that up. I took that off and painted it gray. I think it looks cool. It's like a little more stealth. I didn't really like the bright red in front of the American flag. The colors kind of clashed and it always kind of bugged me. So I finally had some time last night. It was raining outside. I just took an hour in the garage, took it down, spray painted it a couple times, put another coat on this morning, and then I threw it back up there so it was primed and ready for the video. All right, I'll see you in the rack in a second. Let's get into lunges, and then the rest of the day will follow. I'll talk to you then. Let's get this first set underway, right? 8 to 12 reps per side. Remember, when you're doing lunges, unilateral work, it's per side. So don't be doing 8 to 12 steps and calling it good. 16 to 24 steps, then you can call it good. All right, I'm cool with that, stopping at 10 per side. 20 steps. That was a good opener right there. A real good opener. The reason I'm doing this type of lunge right here, the reverse lunge, there's a couple reasons. It's very accessible in terms of just walking in, putting the bar on your back, and you don't have to move a lot. You can just back up as far as a traditional squat, because when you step back, the bar just basically comes straight down. When you drive up, it goes straight back up. So you're only taking up as much space as you can step back. That's it. The other reason is that they tend to be softer on the knees. If you think about when you step back with this type of lunge, you know, you're stepping back and you're in control. Like as you step back, all your weight is still on the front foot, and then you choose that spot, you land soft. But if you are doing a walking lunge or like a forward stationary lunge, you know, and you step forward, you're landing harder. You're not really under control as much as when you're stepping back with reverse lunge. So if you want a lunge variation that, in my opinion, is easiest on your knees, it's the reverse lunge. Also, you can do this lunge in a Smith machine, because like I said, the bar just moves straight up and down. So you can easily do this in a Smith machine, just as if you were doing it with a free bar on your back. That's useful for a lot of people because balance is an issue at first when people start lunges. The Smith machine can help with that at first. I don't recommend sticking to it forever, but it's good to get started and build up that leg strength to do those lunges with some progressive overload, some more weight over time. Use the Smith machine. You don't have to worry about balance. And then eventually, when you feel confident, get to a free bar variation and just do a little more work. It's a little bit tougher, there's no doubt about it. So it's a step up the progression staircase or ladder, if you will. Those are a couple of reasons why I like reverse lunges. You're going to see me doing them a lot. You'll see me doing these or walking lunges. I don't really like stationary lunges where you're popping forward, hitting the floor pretty hard, and then having to push yourself back up. I'm not a fan of that. So you're going to see me doing reverse or walking. Set 2. Now again, 8 to 12 steps per side, not in total. Obviously, that's a huge deal breaker. It's important. So that second set effect is definitely kicked in. It's in effect. These feel easier. The bar feels lighter, but nothing changed. Just my nervous system has got my body more prepared for the set. They could never do that without the first set. I'm gonna do 2 more. Extra lunges are fun, right? Right. So here we are at the AMRAP. I can't tell you this is gonna be easy. The set's gonna be rough, I know that. I was digging in on reps 9 and 10 per side last time. I was digging in, so I know this is going to be rough. Thinking of going up to 16 to 20 per side, it's a little intimidating, I'm not going to lie. And that's going to happen from time to time with this program. It pushes you. This is a time where you do have to push yourself on this set. And one thing that I like to remind myself of is this shit is going to suck bad when I'm in it, but it's not going to take that long. The set's going to maybe be 90 seconds to 2 minutes, something like that. So I'm going through that hell for that short period of time, but then my body is recovering and gaining and making gains for 2 days afterwards. So if I just put this time in hard right now and go through some hell under the bar, I get benefits for days. And that's a sweet concept. So you gotta think about that when you're going into a hard set like this. This is a hard set. This is a definition of a grinder right here. here's my minimum. Right there, minimum, 8. 10. Oh shit. 12. That was 15, 16. I really don't. Whew. 2 more. Whew. Maybe more. Okay. That was really tough. Whew. I think that was 17, maybe 18. Like I said, I got caught up in the feelings. Lost my true count there. Whew. That's all right. That's how you got to do it, though. You got to put in the work. Grind out whatever you can. I got to admit, that turned into a lot of cardio, but also heavy burn in the quads and glutes. That's exactly where I should be feeling these. So I did that shit right, kept it tight, and now I'm moving on. Squats. The Oppen Bar squats, these are great. They're like a front squat, like a cambered bar squat, but you don't have to have the bar across your shoulders as you do during traditional barbell front squats. I like it. I like it a lot. Great quad focus, helps keep my torso pretty upright. It's just a solid move. I feel like I might have gave you guys some plumber's crack during that set. I felt like my pants were coming down a little bit. I'm gonna have to tie them for the next set. Apologies if that was the case. Whew. So I watched the video back, there was no crack. You're safe. Let's get into the second set here. Another 10. Just pyramiding up a little bit. Added 10 pounds on. And this is gonna feel great. It was a good set. just like I knew it was going to happen there, because I stayed focused on the right things. My head was in the game. I wasn't thinking about what I was going to have for lunch or anything like that. I was thinking about my squats. Keep your head in the game. You're going to do a lot better in the gym. I went ahead and bumped the weight up another 10 pounds on this one. Now, coming off a deload, you got to remember, you haven't lifted intensely in at least a week. So what I like to do is I like to cut the weight off, like 5 to 10% off of my previous numbers. And that just allows me to get back into full intensity a little more smoother. It's not just this sudden jolt to everything. You're still getting a lot of work. I mean, 5 or 10% off is not much. Whew. That was great. That was a great final set right there. I have to say that set felt probably easier than the first and second. Sometimes you build through your sets and you get stronger, like the second set effect transfers into a third. That's what happened there, because that was heavier, 20 pounds heavier than the first, 10 pounds heavier than the second, but it did feel lighter. It did feel better. You saw my reps were a little bit quicker on the positive, and that really determined whether or not that set was better. Whew. So it's great to have those squats out of the way. Right now, that's the toughest part of this day for me. You'd think it would be the lunges. It's not. I feel like my body is not built well for squatting. When you look at me from the side when I'm doing it, you know, my upper leg bones, those femurs are just really long, and it just makes it tough for me. I've never been an amazing squatter. It's just part of it. You know, my deadlifts have been clearly ahead of my squats, and that's just how it goes. So when I can do like a front squat variation, or low bar feels pretty good for me, but not super deep. But front squats, this Oppen bar, those type of squats feel best for me. I can get super low. I don't have to let my torso fold over a ton, because that's part of the long femur thing is your hips go back real far, and your torso just has to lean over a lot. And I just don't like that, but it's my reality, and it always has been. So I just have to adapt. I've always squatted. I didn't just say screw it to doing squats. I always did it. It's just that different variations feel better. Remember when I said earlier in the intro that I was going to talk about exercise changes, things like that? This is the perfect time. Hitting those squats, that's one of the harder things of the workout for me, as I was just talking about. It's a good time to take a little extended break, because you know there's another compound coming up. I'm going to do Romanian deadlifts today, I decided. But first, I want to get into the training chat, and I want to talk about how often you should consider changing up exercises. I'm talking about that because in the supplement exercise directions of the GST size manual right here, page 73, I've found something very interesting in my years of training clients. The less frequently I change their programming concepts or exercise selections, the more progress they make in multiple departments, such as strength gains, fat loss, and actual muscle growth, hypertrophy. And this is really important. You know, I've seen anecdotal evidence of this over and over and over and over. I have like 25,000 plus hours of client training experience. So I have plenty of time, you know, reading studies, doing research, things like that over the years. But I also have this massive amount of anecdotal evidence. And that's worth a lot. You know, to me, that's worth a lot. The real world, things that you see in the real world, they matter. And I've undeniably found that. If I can just keep people doing exercises for an extended period of time, say a couple months, sometimes 3 or 4 months, what this does, it gives them time to actually really get good at the exercise. And that matters. You know, everybody says if you can't do something well, if people are doing better than you, get good. They just say, get good. And that's what allowing time with an exercise does. How are you supposed to master a skill in a few weeks? You know, exercising is a skill. You don't really generally think about it like that, and people might not think about it like that right off the bat. But as you train more and you get into it and you love it, you realize like, yeah, this actually is a skill. If I do an exercise and I practice it, practice with lighter weights, practice with heavier weights, really focus on form, I get better at the exercise and I actually do get more out of it. It's this thing that happens. And you're only going to allow that to happen. You're only going to feel that result, that progress, if you allow yourself the time to feel it, to make it happen, to practice, to get good. So I recommend keeping exercises for at least 8 weeks. You know, unless something's really wrong, like it's causing you pain, you've tried different little form tweaks and you can't get that pain to go away, or you hate it so much that you're not going to do it. Those are the 2 main reasons that I would say to not follow my rule here, the 8-week rule, and use something else. Switch it up. Because if you hate something so much that it's going to keep you from doing it, you don't have to force yourself to do it. You're going to fall off that wagon, and there's no question about that. And if something's causing you pain, like the bad type of pain, you know, the sharp joint pain, actual pain outside of just DOMS, you know, delayed onset muscle soreness, or burn while you're doing the exercise. If you're feeling the bad type of pain and it won't stop, and you've tried different form tweaks and you've watched form tutorials and you think you're doing everything right, you know, make the move away from that exercise. Don't force yourself through pain. That's a whole other topic, but the bottom line is, you know, that's a reason to switch up an exercise prior to my recommended 8-week mark. You know, I think this training chat can actually be a little shorter today. I think that I've got my point across. It's basically give your exercises time for you to get good at them, and you're going to see more results from those same exercises. It does matter. Trust me. Training is repetitive. If you have, you know, ADD and you need to switch things up so bad, that's fine. You know, you're an individual. Feel free. But at least shoot for like 4 to 6 weeks. You really got to try to do that. It does make a big difference. And certain exercises, they're going to stick in your program for much longer. You know, they could stick in your program for years, and that's not even an exaggeration, because certain exercises are just that high quality, you don't need to switch them up. From time to time, you know, exercises like that are going to come around. You're going to get into that groove with them, and they're just not going to go away. And that's okay. Switch some up from time to time. You don't have to switch your whole program either. That's another thing. You don't have to switch your whole program. Pick a few exercises every couple, 3 months, and switch them up. It's good for mental engagement. It's good for variety. It's good for that mental refresh, even that physical refresh. So I think you get my point. Don't do muscle confusion. That's not a real thing. Your muscles don't wake up at 6 a.m. and dare somebody to try and confuse them, you know. That does not happen. Muscles don't have brains. They cannot get confused. Let's just leave it at that. I need to get to deadlifts. I hope this was, you know, an informative chat. I do feel like I ranted a little bit, maybe repeated myself, but I think that's classic me. You might know that by now. I just like to drive in the home points, because you hear things once and you might just, you know, in one ear and out the other. You hear them a couple times, it's better, and then you hear them like 3 times, and it's probably going to stick. And that's what I want to try to do, is get these important points to stick, because they're valuable, and you can really make more progress with the things that I'm saying. What do you think of muscle confusion? I would love to know what you think, even if you disagree with me. It's great. Debate, discussion, that's what drives me to make better content here. And it's just good to talk. I mean, I just like to talk training, whether it's just like talking trash to each other, you know, friendly trash, agreeing on things. I just like to talk training. Get at me with your comment here. All right, Romanian deadlifts. It's time for that posterior chain destruction. You know, like I said, GST has evolved from a once weekly program into a twice weekly beast. It's been like this for a while, but the program does keep evolving. And that's what this latest variation, this GST size variation, is all about. It's the latest evolution in GST programming. It should be an easy opener for Romanian deadlifts here. 235, quick set, medium reps, 10 reps. Let's get this in. Get in, get out. I want to mention something because you saw, I think it was rep 9, maybe rep 8. You saw me come down, and then as I was coming up, I kind of stumbled. Not stumbled, but tipped back a little bit. It's better to tip back on a lift like that than tip forward. Because the point is that you should be going through your heels at all times. You know, the balls of your feet plus heels, with an emphasis on heels. So if you're gonna tip in any direction, it should be back. If my shoes were off, you'd even see that my toes, like my big toes, are lifted off the ground. That's one trick that I try to do for myself, because it automatically keeps me from being able to lean forward. Because right when you lean forward, your big toes, they flex, they grab the ground. If they're up, you can't lean forward. You gotta shift your weight back. And these deadlifts, especially Romanians, it's all about that hip hinge. Shoot your butt back to start the movement, flex your butt forward to push your torso to the top. If you saw my last short clip, you know, that's why deadlifts are a push exercise. Your hips, they push forward, they push your torso up. And in that process, you know, you just happen to lift a weight off the ground because you're hanging onto it, but you're not actually pulling the weight off the ground. You're just pushing your body into a position that lifts the weight up because it's attached to you. All right, let's get into the next set. Another medium rep. That was pretty light, I gotta say. So I'm gonna move that up. When you're in the gym and you feel like you can move up, ask yourself the question, you know, can I move up in weight? If the answer is yes, move up in weight. That was a money set right there. Slow, smooth, controlled. That was hamstring and glute. Destruction. Yes, sir. So I had to come in and do a little voiceover on these cable crunches. The reason is because I do these a special way. I haven't really seen this before. And what you're going to notice is that at the top of the motion, you see how straight up and down I am? Basically, in my mind, I'm trying to think of a straight line from my knee to my shoulders. And what this does, it actually causes me to thrust my hips forward, and it increases the range of motion for my abs at the top of each rep. You want to get full ROM. ROM is range of motion, and you want it to be full when you're doing your exercises. This gives me an ab stretch at the top. It moves my abs through a fuller range of motion. They have to do more work as a result. And it's just a nice type of kneeling cable crunch that I haven't seen this, but when I have clients do this, they love it. They tell me that they feel it more connected with their abs. Their mind-muscle connection improves. They also feel like it's harder, and I do as well. I get more feeling out of this style of cable crunch than any other style. And some basic cable crunch tips here. When you come down, you don't want to shoot your hips back. Like, you're going to notice right here that my knees, they don't bend more than 90 degrees at their max degree of bend. Of course, when I'm at the top, it's less. But all in all, I'm really trying to not shoot my hips back to bring my elbows or my torso down towards the floor. I'm letting my abs do that. And again, I'm getting stretched out at the top. It's like a hip thrust. I'm thinking about my knee to my shoulder is about as straight of a line as I can get it. That's the main cue that's going to help you a lot during this move. It's going to allow you to do that hip thrust motion. And that's how I want you to do your hip or your cable crunches. Oh my God. That's serious ab burn. Whew. All right, truth be told, this workout was excellent. I thank you for being here. I got 3 minutes left on this memory card, so let's get through this outro. Post-workout meal. I'm going to go in there, I'm going to hit some cottage cheese, some Greek yogurt, some raspberries on top, and I'm going to probably have a bagel as well with some butter. That's going to be so nice, man. I want to get those post-workout carbs and replenish those glycogen stores. You know how it goes. A little bro-y, a little bro-science-y, but hey, it's never treated me wrong in the past, and every little advantage that I can get during this bulk, why not take it, right? 2 minutes left. That was fast. That was faster than I thought. But really, I just want to thank you for being here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked the intro. I really hope you took value away from the training chat. That's what I'm trying to deliver. I'm trying to talk to you, give you value, and build a better you, more confident, stronger, bigger, leaner. That's what I'm trying to do here. And as I go through this 25 weeks of growth program with you together, we can do that together. You get on the program, get started. You can trail me, that's fine, because then you can watch ahead and know what's coming. That's kind of a good thing. Sometimes that's kind of a bad thing, though, because there's some hard concepts coming down the pipe here. Once week 9 hits, things escalate, and then things escalate again for phase 3, which is the final 8 weeks of the program. And you'll see what happens. There's some times ahead that are tough. Okay, that's it. I don't want to ramble here, so I got to go. I'm out. Post-workout mealtime. Thanks again for joining me. I really appreciate you watching. Have a good day today.